Kunya Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari. Yashodanandana Branjana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Branjana Ranjana. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunya Bihari. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Nayadaya, Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Madhava ki. Yam Vishnu Bhaktanam Hamsa Parivraj Pacharya Sutta Shata Shishi Machi. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. The Gora Premananda Hari. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Krishna book, Krishna the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chapter 59, the deliverance of the demon Baumasura. Yes, Baumasura, we all know. I mean, maybe we don't all know, but Baumasura is actually the son of Krishna and Bhumi. When Varahadev fought Hiranyaksha, he first went in his form of Dvaraka, Varaha, in the form of a boar. He first dove into the causal ocean to retrieve Bhumi, and by his touch, Bhumi became impregnated and gave birth to Baumasura. He was not an asura already right at birth, because he was the son of Krishna and Bhumi, who are, Krishna is all auspicious and everything, so how could Krishna produce a demon? And Bhumi is a great devotee of Krishna also, as we can see from this, that Krishna himself came to rescue her. She is doing everything in her power to keep, the universe going as it's supposed to go. So, yes, it was by the wrong association that Baumasura became a demon. So let's read a little bit. The story of Baumasura, how he kidnapped and made captive 16,000 princesses by collecting them from the palaces of various kings, and how he was killed by Krishna, the Supreme Lord of wonderful character, is all described by Shukadeva Goswami to King Parikshit in Srimad Bhagavatam. Generally, the demons are always against the demigods. This demon, Baumasura, having become very powerful, took by force the umbrella from the throne of the demigod Varuna. He also took the earrings of Aditi, the mother of the demigods. He conquered the portion of heavenly Mount Meru, known as Mani Parvat, and occupied it. The king of the heavenly systems, heavenly planets, Indra, therefore came to Dwarka to complain about Baumasura before Krishna. Hearing this complaint by Indra, the king of heaven, Lord Krishna, accompanied by his wife Satyabhama, immediately started for the abode of Baumasura. The two of them rode on the back of Garuda, who flew them to Pragyoshitapur, Baumasura's capital city. To enter the city of Pragyotishapur was not a very easy task, because it was very well fortified. First of all, there were 4 strongholds guarding the 4 directions of the city, which was well protected on all sides by formidable military strength. The next boundary was a water canal all around the city, and in addition to the whole city was surrounded by electric wires. The next fortification was of anila, a gaseous substance. After this, there were a network of barbed wire constructed by a demon of the name Mura. The city appeared well protected, even in terms of today's scientific advancement. So here we can see, the demigods are always afraid of the demons, and they always threaten their position of being demigods. And we can see here that Bhamasura became very powerful, and he by force took the umbrella of Varuna, and he took the upper portion of Mount Meru. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai, Shri Gaura Hari ki jai, Shri Guri Govardhan ki jai, Shri Yashoda Damodar ki jai. So Indra came to complain to the Lord, and then hearing the plight of Lord Indra, Krishna, he went there to Bhamasura, and he took his wife Satyabhama with him. And this is actually very significant. Why he took Satyabhama with him was because, for a mother to lose her child is very difficult. So Krishna wanted permission from the mother of Bhamasura to kill him. But I said before that the mother of Bhamasura was Bhumi Devi. So how is it now that he took Satyabhama to get permission? Because Satyabhama is the origin of Bhumi Devi, so then Krishna took Satyabhama with him. And Satyabhama also has that, fighting spirit, so she was very much appropriate for this mission to take with him. And then we can see that, maybe here in South Africa you can learn a thing or two from Bhamasura's protective measurements. Yes, he was really well protected. First walls, and then water, then electric wires, barbed wires, everything was there. And even, a person was standing at the entrance like we have here also. When Krishna arrived, he broke all the strongholds to pieces by the strokes of his club, and scattered the military strength here and there by the constant onslaught of his arrows. With his celebrated Sudarshan Chakra, he counteracted the electrified boundary, annihilated canals of water and the gaseous boundary, and cut to pieces the electrified network fabricated by the demon Mura. By the vibration of his conch shell, he broke the hearts of the great fighters and also broke the fighting machines that were there. Similarly, he broke the walls around the city with his invincible club. The vibration of Lord Krishna's conch shell sounded like a thunderbolt at the time of the dissolution of the whole cosmic manifestation. The demon Mura heard the vibration of the conch shell, awakened from his sleep, and came out to see what had happened. He had 5 heads and had long been living with the water. The Mura demon was as brilliant as the sun at the time of dissolution of the cosmos, and his temper was like blazing fire. The effulgence of his body was so dazzling that he was difficult to see with open eyes. When he came out, he first took out his trident and rushed the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The demon Mura, in his onslaught, was like a big snake attacking Garuda. His angry mood was very severe, and he appeared ready to devour the 3 worlds. First of all, he attacked the carrier of Krishna, Garuda, by whirling and then throwing his trident, and through his 5 mouths he vibrated sounds like the roaring of a lion. These roaring vibrations spread all over the atmosphere until they extended all over the world and into outer space, up and down and out to the 10 directions, rumbling throughout the entire universe. Here we see Krishna, he blew his conch shell, and that broke the hearts of all his enemies. And we see a similar description in the Bhagavad Gita as well, in the beginning, 1st chapter. When the Kauravas blow their conch shell, they certainly produce a very tumultuous sound, but there is no description of them breaking their enemy with just that sound. But then when the Pandavas and Krishna himself blew their transcendental conch shells, it is described, then the hearts of the Kauravas were shattered. Yes, and that was already one sign of victory for the Pandavas before anything ever happened, even on the battlefield. And here it is also, we see that also demons are very much effulgent, and it was very difficult to see demon Mura with open eyes, and he attacked the Supreme Lord as a snake attacks Garuda, and we see Garuda was there also. But Garuda was not affected by Mura. Lord Krishna saw that trident of the Mura demon was rushing towards his carrier Garuda. Immediately, by a trick of his hand, he took 2 arrows and threw them toward the trident, cutting it to pieces. Simultaneously, using many arrows, he pierced the mouths of the demon Mura. When the Mura demon saw himself outmaneuvered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he immediately began to strike the Lord in great anger with his club. But Lord Krishna, with his own club, broke the club of Mura to pieces before it could reach him. The demon, bereft of his weapon, decided to attack Krishna with his strong arms, but Krishna, with the aid of his Sudarshan Chakra, immediately separated the demon's 5 heads from his body. The demon then fell into the water, just as the peak of a mountain falls into the ocean after being struck by the thunderbolt of Indra. This demon Mura had 7 sons named Tamara, Antariksha, Shravana, Vibhavaso, Vaso, Nabaswan, and Aruna. All of them became puffed up and vengeful because of the death of their father, and to retaliate, they prepared in a great anger to fight with Krishna. They equipped themselves with the necessary weapons and situated Pita, another demon, to act as commander in the battle. By the order of Bhaumasura, all of them combinedly attacked Krishna. So we see here, demons, they always attack Krishna. They are relentless in their attacks. But I think it's very interesting that Prabhupada, he writes, demon was outmaneuvered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Obviously, he will be outmaneuvered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no chance against the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mean, it's a big difference in strength. And the other thing that struck me in this certain section is how in the Srimad Bhagavatam we have all these action scenes which are super far out. I mean, if you look at the modern day movies and all that kind of stuff, they certainly have some good action scenes, but they don't come close to what is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is also very nice. When they came before Lord Krishna, they began to shower him with many kinds of weapons like swords, clubs, lances, arrows, and tridents. But they did not know that the strength of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is unlimited and invincible. Krishna, with his arrows, cut all the weapons of the men of Bhaumasura into pieces like grains. Krishna then threw his weapons, and Bhaumasura's commander-in-chief Pita, along with his assistants, fell down. Their military dress cut off, and their hands, legs, arms, and thighs severed. All of them were sent to the superintendent of death, Yamaraj. Yes, it's interesting. Like 2 days ago, or in the beginning of karting, we had this class by Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, and he was describing how the demons, when they get killed by the Lord, they usually get this impersonal liberation, and we should not consider that very much of a big achievement, because Kevalya Narakaya Teha is explained by Prabodhananda Saraswati, I think. So that this impersonal liberation is like hellish, and this is not just a statement of the devotees, but it is actually a fact. But here we can see that these demons, they were sent to the superintendent of death, Yamaraj. And these ones were not even given this. Who knows? Maybe it's just a way of saying things, or they were really not liberated by Krishna. Bhamasura, who was also known as Narakasura, happened to be the son of the earth personified. When he saw that all his soldiers, commanders and fighters had been killed on the battlefield by the strokes of the weapons of the personality of Godhead, he became exceedingly angry at the Lord. He then came out of the city with a great number of elephants, who had all been born and brought up on the seashores. All of them were highly intoxicated. When they came out, they saw that Lord Krishna and his wife were beautifully situated high in outer space, just like a blackish cloud about the sun glittering with the light of electricity. The demon Bhaumasura immediately released a weapon called Shatagni, by which he could kill hundreds of warriors with one stroke, and all his assistants simultaneously threw their respective weapons at the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Krishna counteracted all these weapons by releasing his feathered arrows. The result of this fighting was that all the soldiers and commanders of Bhaumasura fell to the ground, their arms, legs, and heads separated from their trunks, and all their horses and elephants also fell with them. In this way, all the weapons released by Bhaumasura were cut to pieces by the Lord arrows. So here we can see how Krishna was overpowered. He was too much powerful for these demons. I mean, they were throwing everything they got at him, and he just threw his feathered arrows, and poof, everything was gone. I remember once my spiritual master, His Holiness Kadamba Swami, was explaining how when he joined, he was reading Krishna book, and then he thought, this book is not very interesting because, it is always like Krishna is playing, and then some demon comes, he interrupts him at lunch, and then it's 1, 2, 3, and the demon is finished, and there is nothing, no, rivalry there is no danger, you always know Krishna is gonna win. It's boring. But no, Krishna is, Krishna is interesting very much, because, also I once saw this video, one psychologist was explaining how in sports, people watch when there is like a dominant team or a dominant player. That's when they watch. If there is like everybody could win, you don't know who is the clear favorite, then the ratings drop. So we always want to see a big hero always win. And it's just, that sometimes this envy kicks in, that, why is he always winning? This is destroying the whole thing. And this is the same, with Krishna. He's always winning. He never loses. So then, because of our false ego, we also want to always win. And then we become envious of Krishna. The Lord was fighting on the back of Garuda, who was helping him by striking the horses and elephants with his wings and scratched their heads with his nails and sharp beak. The elephants, feeling much pain from Garuda's attack on them, all dispersed from the battlefield. Bhaumasura alone remained in the battlefield, and he engaged himself in fighting with Krishna. He saw that Krishna's carrier Garuda had caused great disturbance to his soldiers and elephants, and in great anger he struck Garuda with all his strength, which defied the strength of a thunderbolt. Fortunately, Garuda was not an ordinary bird, and he felt the strokes given by Bhaumasura, just as a great elephant feels the impact of a garland of flowers. Yes, even Garuda was too much powerful for this Bhaumasura. Sometimes I have an older brother, right? He's 2 years older than me. So when you fight, you kind of always get overpowered by the older brother. And then you try to hit him with all your strength, and nothing happens. You're just frustrated like anything. You just hit and nothing happens. He's just like looking at you like, is that all you got, You give me some fight here also. Anyway, then Then I grew up to be bigger than him. I was like, ha 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 ha, you're not gonna bully me now anymore. Yes. No, but then we were too old to fight. Yeah, so we can see that Garuda was just, feeling it like gentle strokes of a flower garland on an elephant is just nothing. And here I also saw that all these elephants were intoxicated even. And that reminds us of this elephant of Kamsa, Kuvaryapida, who was also given liquor to become very, crazy and just run through the streets mad. Bhamasura thus came to see that none of his tricks would act upon Krishna, and he became aware that all his attempts to kill Krishna would be frustrated. Yet he tried for the last time, taking a trident in his hand to strike him. Krishna was so dexterous that before Bhamasura could throw his trident, his head was cut off by the Sarp Sudarshan Chakra. His head, illuminated by earrings and a helmet, fell down on the battlefield. On the occasion of Bhamasura's being killed by Lord Krishna, all the demons' relatives screamed in disappointment, and the saintly persons glorified the chivalrous activities of the Lord. Taking this opportunity, the descendants of heavenly planets showered flowers on the Lord. At this time, the earth personified appeared before the Lord Krishna and greeted him with a gigantic flower garland. She then returned the dazzling earrings of Aditi, bedecked with jewels and gold. She also returned the umbrella of Varuna, along with a valuable jewel which she presented to Krishna. After this, the earth personified offered her prayers to Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Master of the world, who is always worshipped by exalted demigods. She fell down in obeisances and in great devotional ecstasy began to speak. Here we see how the relatives were all disappointed very much, and they screamed in their disappointment. And because Krishna so swiftly dispatched this demon Bhamasura. But we can see that the earth herself, she was in a great devotional ecstasy, and she began to speak. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who is always present with four symbols, namely his conch shell, disc, lotus, and club, and who is the Lord of all demigods. Please accept my respectful obeisances unto you, my dear Lord. You are the super soul, and in order to satisfy the aspirations of your devotees, you descend to the earth in your various transcendental incarnations, which are just appropriate to the devotee's worshipful desire. Kindly accept my respectful obeisances. My dear Lord, the lotus flower grows out of your navel, and you are always decorated with a garland of lotus flowers. Your eyes are always spread like the petals of the lotus flower, and therefore they are all pleasing to the eyes of others. Your soft and delicate lotus feet are always worshipped by your unalloyed devotees, and those lotus feet pacify their lotus-like hearts. I therefore repeatedly offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Yeah, so we can see here that the Lord, we always offer our prayers to the Lord by, offering obeisances to his different features. Like we could also see with Kunti Devi, she also offers her obeisances to different parts of the Lord's body. Because actually, it is said that she offers her obeisances to different parts of the Lord's body before the lotus feet, just because she is older, and by etiquette she is not supposed to bow down to a junior. So she offers her obeisances before to the navel, to the face, and so on. And here we see how the Lord, he pacifies the lotus-like hearts of his devotees, and with his lotus feet. And there is a nice song, Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Shushitala, how the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda are more soothing than thousands of moonlights. Yes. You possess all beauty, strength, fame, property, knowledge, and renunciation. You are the shelter of all six opulences. Although you are all-pervading, you have appeared as the son of Vasudeva. Please therefore accept my respectful obeisances. You are the original Supreme Personality of Godhead and the supreme cause of all causes. Only your Lordship is the reservoir of all knowledge. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Personally, you are unborn. Still, you are the father of the whole cosmic universe. You are the reservoir and shelter of all kinds of energies. The manifested appearance of this world is caused by you, and you are both the cause and effect of this cosmic manifestation. Please, therefore, accept my respectful obeisances. My dear Lord, as for the three gods, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, they are not independent of you. When there is a necessity of creating this cosmic manifestation, you create your passionate appearance of Brahma, and when you want to maintain this cosmic manifestation, you expand yourself as Lord Vishnu, the reservoir of all goodness. Similarly, you appear as Lord Shiva, master of the mode of ignorance, and thus dissolve the whole creation. You always maintain your transcendental position in spite of creating these three modes of material nature. You are never entangled in this mode of nature, as the ordinary living entities are. Actually, my Lord, you are the material nature, you are the Father of the universe, and you are eternal time, which has caused the combination of the elements of nature and the manifestation of the material creation. Still, you are always transcendental to all these material activities. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know that earth, water, fire, air, sky, the five sense objects, mind, the senses, and their deities, egotism, and the total material energy, all things animate and inanimate, in this phenomenal world rest upon you. Since everything is produced of you, nothing can be separate from you. Yet since you are transcendentally situated, nothing material can be identified with your personality. Everything is therefore simultaneously one with you and different from you. And the philosophers who try to separate everything from you are certainly mistaken in their viewpoint. My dear Lord, may I inform you that this body, whose name is Bhagadatta, is the son of my son, Bhaumasura. He has been very much affected by the ghastly situation created by the death of his father and has become very much confused and afraid. I have therefore brought him to surrender unto your lotus feet. I request your Lordship to give shelter to this boy and bless him with your lotus feet. I bring him to you so that he may be relieved of the reactions of all sinful activities of his father. So here we can see that Bhumi is basically refuting the whole Mayavad philosophy. She is saying that the Lord, He is always transcendental, and even though He creates this whole material universe and all of the modes of material nature, the material elements, the senses, the deities presiding over the senses, the egotism, everything, He is never affected by all this. And yet, all these things can never be separate from Him as well. So He is much greater than all these things combined. And then, of course, we can logically conclude as to then how would we have a form and a personality and everything like that? And Krishna, who is much greater than all His creation, would not have a form, and then He would be lacking in some way or be less than His own creation. And yes, here we see that she also presented her grandson, Bhagadatta, the son of Bhaumasura. And this is a very nice gesture, because we can see that only by the mercy of a devotee we can actually approach Krishna. And then Krishna may give mercy to us like this. And on our own, we can just be scared and confused and afraid. But if a devotee presents us to Krishna, then Krishna becomes very merciful unto us. And then And that is the position of the Guru, and that's why we pray that we can, for him to give us the shade of his lotus feet, and in that way just take us back to Krishna. All right, I will stop here. Thank you very much. Any comments, any questions? Yes. Oh, you have a doubt?
I have a doubt. How is it that the direct son of Krishna can become a demon?
Yes, we are all parts and parcels of Krishna, correct? We are all spirit souls. So how is it that a particle of Krishna can also become inimical of Krishna? It is by this desire to enjoy without Krishna, or be on the same position as Krishna. And that is called also, that is one of the features of Mayavad philosophy. If I cannot, if Krishna is God, and I cannot be God, but I still want to be at least on the same position as Krishna. So then, at least I can merge into the effulgence. So that is one point. So we want to, but because we are never satisfied with voidness, we want to enjoy. So we come to this material world and try to lord it over this material nature. And in course of that, we develop all these demoniac qualities as well. Even though we are divine, eternal servants of Krishna by nature. There is no question about that. That is our original, constitutional position. Just like water is wet, we are servants of Krishna. You cannot make the water dry artificially. Then the water disappears. So we are always eternal servants of Krishna. Eternal means always. But we still see that there's so many demoniac people in this world, even though they are parts and parcels of Krishna. And that is all by our minute free will independence, minute independence that we have. So we have a choice. Everybody has a choice. Even the son of Krishna, he has a choice. That is he going to be a servant of Krishna, or is he going to be a demon? And Bhaumasura, he came into bad association, and by that bad association he became polluted, and he started to harass everyone and became envious of Krishna. He was actually associating with Dvivida Gorilla, who was also a very great devotee of Krishna. I mean, he was building the bridge for Lord Ramachandra, but his mistake was that he did not acknowledge the position of Lord Lakshman. So he was thinking, yes, Ramachandra, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but this Lakshman, I don't vibe him, he's some strange guy. No, I don't know if he said like this, but he made an offense to Lakshman. So then that caused his fall down, and he became a great demon, and he got killed by Lord Balaram, who is Lakshman himself. Yes, so we see that, by bad association, even the son of Krishna, he can become envious of Krishna. So we have to really guard against this bad association. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that, we should not be too attached to the association of women, because that will bind us to this bodily platform of life, which means to the sex desires, goes for both sides. And we also should not associate with those people who are too attached to this sexual pleasure, because even by just associating with them, then we will get those kind of impressions in ourselves. But now we see everybody is like this, so we kind of have to be like. But anyway, they also need mercy, so that's why you go on Harinam. Give them your Hare Krishna association, and then you don't need to take their association. So yeah, that is very nice. I hope that answers. I think you know anyway. What would you say? Okay. All right. Anything else? All right. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.